What's up, guys? Straight from the chest. Welcome. My name is Justin Groth, and I am your host. Guys, if you're new to the channel, welcome. This is a personal development podcast that I gear towards igniting the dormant passion that lays within you. If you've been listening, thank you for your listening ear. Thank you for your time. I always say it, but it's something that you'll never get back, your time, and that means a lot to me, guys. Can you hear that honking? No, it's gone. There was a plethora of honking going on next door to where I live because, I don't know, it must be someone's birthday and they're just honking, but not honking like just beep, 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 and then that's it. And then, another maybe 10 seconds later, beep, 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 beep. It's like these people are honking like there's alarms going off on cars. Like that's what it seems like. I almost got it can you hear it? No, it's gone. I'm having flashbacks of all the honking and shit. They were honking so much, it sounded like people's alarms, car alarms were going off. It was excessive. But not giving up, not quitting. I got a message for everybody that was honking during that birthday, that little kid's birthday. If that was you honking excessively, kill yourself. Kill yourself. That's way overkill, way too much. You know that there's other people that exist on this planet and you're disturbing the shit out of everybody. Kill yourself. Seriously. I don't care if it's a birthday or not. What are you doing excessively honking like that for? Bro, are you kidding me? I'm still hearing it. Like I got flashback. That's why I keep stalling out on you guys thinking I'm hearing it still. Like, do you hear it? Are you hearing it? Because it was that loud. You would be able to hear it through the microphone. Oh my gosh. It was so excessive. Okay. We're back. Guys, I was on my feed today, man, and I was looking at just the Explorer side of Instagram, and I've been on Instagram way too much, and I need to get off because it's just bleeding too much time. Like I know we're shelter in place, and really when I got nothing else to do, I'm just on Instagram or and I'm not even doing. I'm just scrolling, and so I'm scrolling to see this fitness guy's post about a transformation, and he had a transformation of him, literally nothing burger, like at 170, and kind of like or 180 and kind of pudgy, and then you have him I don't know a few years later, and he's jacked as shit, and he's just grainy, shredded, and he talks about diet in that. And so there's one thing, if you know me personally, you know I fucking hate when people don't attest to the fact that they use drugs. Like, if you're going to go out and make the claim that this is diet, this is because I train hard, I'm consistent, and you're 220 pounds at 5'9", and you're shredded, you're clearly on a plethora of steroids, gear, juice, whatever you want to call it. Like, you're on that shit. Stop attesting to the fact that it's just your training, it's just your nutrition. That's why you look the way you look. Well, anyways, I'm looking and I already analyzed it, screened it before I even went into the comments. But I just thought, I'm not fancy myself. I'm gonna go in the comments. I have nothing else to do right now. Anyways, let's see what people are saying. Let's see if they're sucking his dick because they got, pardon my French, because he's got these types of quote unquote gains. So I go in there and I'm just like, I'm looking at people, and one guy calls him out. I almost said MF. I'm trying to cut back on my cussing. It's so hard, man. Because sometimes it just makes me want to cuss because I want to emphasize the point. But anyway, so I'm looking at this guy's comment. He says, yeah, well, he pretty much said what I was thinking. It's real easy when you're on steroids to look like that, and you're on T3 and Clen, which are not steroids per se, but they're thermogenics, and they allow body fat to be dropped a lot quicker. But when you add in other steroids, especially growth hormone, that's going to melt fat off your body. And it's just, it is what it is. And so I'm not saying you're not supposed to do, have your nutrition in place and have your training in place and cardiovascular and all that shit. Yeah, that matters. But when you have those drugs in order, it's way easier. Way easier. I've been following IFBB pros and natural pros, and I'm a natural athlete, and I know what it takes to get in a fucking shape for a competition naturally. And I know guys that have done it unnaturally, and I know what our diets look like, and we're talking about guys that are the same genetic build as me. And they're way more laxed. Way more laxed. Now, this guy pointed it out. The guy that was the author of the post said, bro, those drugs don't burn body fat like that, and you need to, he went back to his point of illustrating that it's all nutrition, and then he rebutted the author again, and the author came back with, bro, talk that shit to someone else. Like, he couldn't handle it. He didn't want to give up the fact that, yeah, these are the reasons why you look that way, dude. You can't be 5'9" and just shredded and muscular and be 220 pounds. Like, it's just, come on. If you're going to attest to the fact that you do these things, that you train hard and you do nutrition right and you're consistent, I applaud you. But you also should pay homage to the white elephant in the room, like anybody else with a brain would, or intelligence would, or integrity would. Like, you should know that if you're going to want to resonate with your fan base, you're going to want to be explicitly raw with what got you there. Don't just fall into the general mainstream crack of, oh yeah, well, I eat chicken breasts and broccoli and white rice and I train hard and I'm consistent, diligent. Yeah. We got all that. Everybody knows that. That's how you have to be. But for you to look the way you look, there's also a dark side, but nobody wants to attest to that. You know why? Because it basically is saying, I have help. And nobody nowadays wants to claim they have fucking help. Nobody. And especially bodybuilders. And that's the problem I got with bodybuilders, mainly the guys that are doing drugs and aren't attesting to the fact that they're doing drugs, or like to keep it a secret, or hush or dismiss it. And we all know why. You're doing that because you want to take all of the credit. And I get it, dude. You're doing this as an individual sport. It's an individual sport. You don't want to attest to the fact that, look, man, I have help. And this is the reason why I look the way I look, 40 pounds above my genetic potential. But that's just the way it is. But you want to give credit to it. And some of these bodybuilders are disillusioned, they're in a disarray because they've been taking drugs for so long, they just they adopt it as normalcy, the drug usage. And they think whenever they make a deviation in their training and their nutrition, it had everything to do with what they look like. But they want to fool people because they want to give all the credit to themselves. Because again, it's an individual sport. This is something that they strive for. Now, I understand you may not be on par with what I'm talking about. You may be lost because I'm talking about bodybuilding. I'm talking about how someone doesn't pay homage or attribute their success to having help. But here's where you can apply it in your life. If we take the poster behind me, when your boy Rocky, okay, I picked this poster. I love Rocky, and I love the quote, okay? It's all about when you have been hit so many times, it's not about how many times you've been hit, but you get back up, and you keep trucking, you keep moving, because guess what? That's what life is gonna bring you. And it's not gonna be easy, it's not gonna be a free ride, but at the same time, the way you get beaten and battered and bruised is gonna be your testimony. And so you gotta keep going, man. And you gotta keep going, and you gotta keep going. Even if nobody's believing you, even if nobody's on your side, even if nobody's cheering you on, even if no one is viewing you, you gotta keep going. Because it's something deeper and visceral. It's the emphasis as why you're doing what you're doing. And so, like Rocky, okay? Rocky had a team of people, one man specifically, that helped him that brought him to a level that he couldn't have gotten to himself. He obviously had the work ethic in place. He had the mental fortitude. He had the perseverance. He had the grit. He had the determination factor. But what is prevalent there as well, and he will pay homage and attribute his success to, is his coach. He was humble in that regard. He knew boxing is an individual sport, but it's also up to the coach to guide the boxer to be his best and to pull out and extract his best. So for you not to attribute some of your success to somebody who helped you get there and you believing that it's all you, this is all you, you're A, not becoming transparent with your public, and B, you're not attributing what actually got you here there. You're not. And you can't honor that. I'm looking onto you. I can't honor that in you, dude. I just can't. Or girl, I just can't. And it's the same thing why I talk about people not being self-made. Nobody's self-made. And I'm going to tell you why. Because even if you did this on your own from rags to riches, God put you in the position that you're in. He gave you the ability, the talent that actually progressed you to the level that you're at. Yes, it was your determination, it was your perseverance, it was your grit, it was all those fun elements. However, it was God that inculcated the talent within you from the beginning. And you can't, and you shouldn't, try to disguise that as something else or dismiss it. So that's my problem I have with guys that are on a bunch of gear and don't attest their success, whether it be just being stronger and or their aesthetics and their physique, because it is just so much easier, Jack. So much easier. You have no idea of what it takes to build muscle the natural way unless you've done it for 15 years and then you go on gear. And then your gear is more attributed to you want to become a professional knowing that you can't compete with the IFBB big guys unless you're on that stuff. But don't be trying to take all the credit yourself, man. It's not all you. And I got a problem with that. You can't honor somebody that doesn't test or give credit to who actually brought them there. If anything ever happens with me in this podcast, if anything ever happens with me and my voice, if anything ever happens with me, with where God wants to bring me, I will always, always pay a tribute to the people that saw purpose and value in me from the gate. It's not just going to be my parents. I'll always give credit. And there's like 3 or 4 people that I know that I'm going to put up, not to mention God, when I get there. If God brings me there and that's his purpose for my life, that will happen. I'll never knock those. Because that's actually the inspiration that drove the impetus it's the reason why I'm even anything. It's all about, guys, let's circle back. It's all about integrity and authentism. Authentism. It's all about you being integral, you being authentic, and you being real. And I know that all those things aren't going to come natural because we live in the shitty world we live in, and we're trying to disguise, and we're trying to take claim, and we're trying to, no, it's me. And I understand it's hardest to become transparent and affluent with those elements. But those are the elements that people can resonate with. Those are the elements that people can actually latch on to and actually honor you for. Even if you didn't do it all yourself. And let's be honest, none of us did anything ourselves of magnitude. Because like I said, even if you don't have any help, you had God inculcate the vision in you from the gate. That wasn't you, man. Get right with that regard. Get right with that. It doesn't mean that you're less than just because you say, look, I had help. I love that about Rocky. I love it because he was so humble. He was this Jersey kid. And I think he was Jersey. And he was just this humble guy that just had this raw talent. And the coach refined the talent. Nobody's taking anything away from your work ethic. Nobody's taking away anything from your drive. But also, But also, don't be afraid. Don't feel less than to pay homage and attribute your success to the person who drove you, or persons or things that drove you. We already, it's plain as day. We know what your background is. We can see it on your body. If we're talking about the bodybuilders. Don't try to disguise or dismiss it. That just makes you look like a pussy or a coward. Another thing about Rocky was that he was so good at what he did and who he was. He was so good at it. And he was such a strong man and fighter. But yet, he was so humble and refrained in his poise and his posture. You know, when they say the meek will inherit the earth, the meek doesn't mean you're this weak, frail individual. Meek means you're a strong individual, but you refrain from actually acting out in a rage or I don't know what else I could say. You refrain from acting out in this rage and this kind of evil gloat. You refrain from that. You refrain from penetrating people not only with your words but with your fists and with your actions. You refrain, but you have it in you, but you refrain. You reject that. You reject that evil. Even though you have it, you reject it. You reject that kind of defense. You reject it. That's what being meek means. Not being frail and being futile or being frivolous. Or weak. No, that's not what meek means, guys. Meek means you have everything in you to dominate. You have everything in you to bulldoze, but you refrain when you need to refrain. Having the self, what's the word I'm looking for? You have restraint, self-restraint. And that's what Rocky had. That's why I honor that man. Even though it's fictional, I honor that. I honor that movie so much. Because he knew how to restrain himself. And that's something we deal with on a consistent daily basis, being able to restrain ourselves from doing evil, from falling into temptation, falling into flesh, from actually falling into the gluttonous acts that actually dominate our person. I know I could become more meek. I know that. One of the things about me is I have a sharp tongue. And I need to become more meek with that, because I don't, even though I can destroy somebody verbally and dismantle them, it doesn't mean that I'm supposed to do so. There's a time and a place to use your tools. There's a time and a place to use your talents. And they're not for evil.